welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories tonight. Kaduna governor, while representing the acting president, says the presidency will not back down on the acting EFCC chairman's appointment. Hundreds of Bakassi residents thrown out of Cameroon for allegedly failing to pay taxes. Some are reported killed. Leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, to remain in protective custody as court in Kaduna strikes out suit challenging his detention by the army. And protesters clash with police in Hamburg, Germany, ahead of the G20 summit. Now, for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com, and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Please log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You will also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. You can share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. And now we've got some of those photos. Our first photo shows some loosely hanging cables off a falling electricity pole along Old Ewu Road, Mafoluku in Oshodi. Our eyewitness describes this as an accident waiting to happen and would want Eco Disco to respond appropriately. A picture showing a thick black plume of smoke billowing into the sky somewhere in an area Obiokpo local government area of River State is giving our eyewitness a cause for concern. He claims the neighborhood is exposed to grave dangers and will want environmental agencies to please intervene. A photo of flooding in Agungi East Estate in Lekki caught the attention of our eyewitness, who says the residents have been subjected to very harsh conditions as a result of this. She wonders who would save them from this hazard. Finally, we have this picture showing a broken pipeline along Onwore Avenue in Imo State in need of urgent attention. Our eyewitness would be delighted to see this fixed. And that's where we'll end the photos for this evening. Please do keep them coming. A federal high court sitting in Kaduna has ruled that the suit filed by the leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, against the Nigerian Army, the Chief of Army Staff, and two others for alleged violation of his fundamental rights is an abuse of court process. But El-Zakzaky's counsel, Mr. Festus Okoye, disagrees with the court, stating that the relief sought at the Federal High Court in Kaduna is different from the one that was filed at the Abuja High Court, presided over by Justice Gabriel Kolawole. He says the legal team will study the judgment and take a decision on whether or not to appeal. El-Zakzaky is asking for the sum of 2 billion naira as damages from the defendants for allegedly killing 3 of his children and destroying his house in December of 2015.
Arise from my last judgment. The first is that if you look at the matter that Justice Kolawole decided, there were 7 reliefs, but in truth, there was only 1 relief. And that relief is that the applicant has been held for more than 24 hours by the Department of State Security Services and the police without being charged to court. So the whole matter that was litigated in Abuja relates to the detention only of the sheikh by the Department of State Services for over a year without being taken to court. There was no other issue. Invasion of the private residence of the Malam occurred in Zaria, in Kaduna State. The killing of his 3 children occurred in Zaria, in Kaduna State. The destruction of his houses and his properties occurred in Zaria, in Kaduna State. The violations relating to these things I have enumerated occurred in Kaduna State. And the law is that you must file fundamental rights proceedings where the violation occurred.
Staying with legal matters, the trial of Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Godwin Obla, today continued at the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja. A former Deputy Controller General, Nigeria Customs Service, Mr. Musa Tahir, who testified for the prosecution, says he had no clue why the service paid 12 million naira into Justice Ofili Ajumogobia's bank account. Mr. Tahir had explained that he had seen Justice Ophelia Gumobobia but had never met her one-on-one. The EFCC counsel, Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo, told the court that the prosecution had filed late an additional list of witnesses and had just served the defense this morning. The EFCC prosecutor said the proof of evidence of their next witness, one Olumoyiwa Sholanke, was served late on the defense by their team due to a regrettable omission. Justice Akeem Oshodi has adjourned the case until September the 29th for continuation of trial. Justice Ophelia Jumagobia is standing trial alongside Mr. Godwin Obla, a senior advocate of Nigeria and former prosecutor of the AFCC, bordering on unlawful enrichment, taking a property by a public officer, corruption, forgery, and giving false information to an official of the EFCC. And still staying with judicial matters, 30 senior advocates of Nigeria have been approved by the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee. Prominent on the list are Lagos lawyer Festus Keyamo, the Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, 4 academics, 1 female, and other practicing lawyers. 156 lawyers applied, while 72 were shortlisted, but only 30 were approved by the National Judicial Commission, the NJC. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has described the late Alhaji Maitama Sule as a great orator who served Nigeria from childhood till his death. Professor Osinbajo made the remark during a one-day condolence visit to the late statesman's residence in Kano. He said he first met the late Maitama Sule when he, Osinbajo, was 15 years old. It was at the same time Maitama Sule became Nigeria's youngest minister.
I met with him when I was 15 years old. That was the first time I met with him. He was then a minister, and he came to give a lecture at the John F. Kennedy Essay Contest, where I was, a participant. He gave the keynote address. The title of the keynote address was Africa Has Arrived, a Cultural Reawakening. I can never forget it because, as you know, he was such a great orator. I do not know how many people spoke the English language better than Alhaji Maitama Sule. I don't know many people who could speak the language with such clarity and with such eloquence as he did. If there was anything that I would have wanted to take away from him before he left, is that great power of oratory and eloquence that he had.
Going now to Abuja for more news, and here's Markwe Ogu. Markwe, good evening.
Hello, Ladi. Well, wife of former president of Nigeria, Patience Jonathan, has written a petition to the House of Representatives over what she describes as the persistent personal attacks and harassment of her by some agencies of the federal government. In the petition written by her lawyers and presented by Representative Bright Tamuno, the former First Lady alleges that the attacks on her is being orchestrated by officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, and other agencies of the federal government. She also seeks to the House to call the agencies to order in view of the agency's refusal to obey court orders. The petition has been referred to the House Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action. Now, 20 of the 23 electoral officers accused of collecting 360 million naira from the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, were today brought before a federal high court in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The arraignment was, however, stalled by the absence of the other electoral officers, with 2 of them asking that the charges be dropped. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Irei, reports.
Is back to square one as the trial of the 23 officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission accused of collecting 360 million naira bribe to allegedly compromise the outcome of the legislative rerun elections in Rivers State resumes at Court 4 of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, the state capital, presided over by Justice Hilary Oshoma. And this is after the matter was moved to Rivers State by the court sitting in Abuja. Counsel to 20 of the defendants argued that the absence of two of his clients was due to their health condition, producing medical reports to back his claim. The trial judge, however, agreed with the prosecuting counsel that there was nothing in the medical reports that suggests that the said defendants could be excused based on health grounds. While declining the prayer of the prosecuting counsel to issue a warrant of arrest, the trial judge gave a warning for the defendants to appear at the next adjourned date. Another twist to the case was the application of two of the defendants for the charges against them to be dropped. Counsels to number 1 to 20 defendants and number 23 then asked for time to review their case in the light of the new application, forcing the court to adjourn the matter.
You could even see him if you were in court. He adjourned other criminal matters to November. So why this one is now adjourned to 3 days in holiday period? I'm actually concerned about that.
And I'm sure now there is a warning signed to all of them that you do not give excuses, untenable excuses before the court, trying to evade arraignment or trial. We started with objection in Abuja, and now we are here again on the same ground of excuses from the defendants.
The matter was adjourned to 17th, 18th and 19th of July for the hearing of the case and other pending applications, with the trial judge giving signals that he wants the matter dispensed with as soon as possible. Emmanuel Irei, Channels Television News.
The National Union of Pensioners, as the NUP, is appealing to the Minister of Labour and Employment to intervene in the feud between the union and its embattled national chairman over remittances of check-off dues from members. The chairman caretaker committee of the electricity sector of the union, Mr. Abel Eiko, told journalists that it's illegal for members to remit the dues to any other account other than the one operated by National Union of Pensioners.
Section 17, sub A and B of the Trade Union Act Cap 14/2014, which states which states inter alia. Upon the registration and recognition of any of the trade unions specified in the third schedule to this act, the employer shall A. Make deductions from the wages of every worker who is a member of any of the trade unions for the purpose of paying contributions to the trade union so registered, and B. Remit such deduction to the registered office of the trade union within a reasonable period or such period as may be prescribed from time to time by the registrar. In this case, the NUP national headquarters is the recognized registered trade union to which the electricity sector is an affiliate. This is the true position of things as it concerns deduction and remittance of check-off dues. The law is sacrosanct in this regard. It is pertinent to remind the Honourable Minister he had earlier mediated in this matter when he asked Obani to withdraw a court case against NUP National Headquarters at Kaduna High Court.
When the news at 10 returns, Globalcom launches 2 products for customer satisfaction. But that's some business news. Just stay with us.